Morning everybody, welcome back to the channel. Scott from Hidden Valley Homestead. I'm getting a new winch bumper for my F350 because I'm going to need it on the homestead. Come on. Well, I didn't explain that very good. Let me explain what's going on here. So as you guys can see, this is the front bumper on my F350, and got it laying here on the ground, right? So I need a winch on my truck. When I go off-grid homesteading with trees, I need a winch to pull trees out of the forest, to pull myself out of a ditch if I slide off or whatnot. I had a winch on my Jeep and I used it to recover myself and rescue myself multiple times, and they're super handy. Versatile tool to have on your vehicle. A lot of guys have winches on the trailers and whatnot, pull stuff up, right? So I've been looking for a winch bumper, a used one on Craigslist. I refuse to spend $1,200 to $1,200 is the lowest price one I've seen for a bully dog. They go all the way up to $2,000 or $3,000 for a really nice one with light cutouts and whatnot. So I'm looking for a used winch, a winch bumper. So they're hard to find out there because guys don't usually sell them. Well, there was a guy that had one that was off of, it was a ranch style. So not as good a quality as far as the thickness of the metal. It's got some diamond plate on it and whatnot. But it had a winch, a mount for a winch, or place to mount a winch, but it didn't have the winch plate in it. And he was asking $500 or trade for a stock 05 to 07 front bumper. Well, I happen to have one. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do with mine once I get the winch I want, if I find one? I called this guy and I said, hey, you know, I'd trade for you, but he's a long ways away. I was kind of like, yeah, I really don't want that bumper, that style. It's kind of a ranch style with the great big brush guards on it. I'm looking for something a little nicer, a little more modern looking. I said, well, when you sell yours, keep my information, and I'll give you mine for $300. And the one I'm looking at is $500, and I'll explain that in future videos as far as what I'm. You'll see me fab up the new one in a future video, but that's a company out of Montana where they sell you all the parts and you weld it up yourself, and you can get whatever style you want. It's $500. So I thought, well, gosh, if I can get $300 for my stock one, because I'd probably toss it in the trash anyway. This guy's willing to give me $300 for it. Why not? So I love Craigslist. You know, some of you homesteaders out there, some of you guys are super resourceful when it comes to buying and finding parts and stuff. Craigslist, Let Go, Offer Up, all these different sites where you can look for local stuff, and people are selling stuff cheap, you know, for half. Even if you're paying half of what it is brand new and it's in great condition, you put some fresh touch-up paint on it, man, you look at that thing, make that thing look brand new. So anyway, so that's what I'm doing today. I took off that bumper. I'm gonna go meet the guy, give him $300. He's gonna give me $300. I'm gonna give him the stock bumper, and we're good to go. So tune in for the next one when I actually weld up the bumper and then start putting my accessories on this thing, because we're gonna be going to Idaho in 2 months, and I'm gonna need. I cut down a big tree up there, and I need a winch to pull it out of the forest. It's about 75 feet up into the forest, and I can't drive my truck in there and yank it out. I'm gonna have to put my winch cable up there and pull it out. So. Something arrived today by UPS. Yeah, baby. Check this out. That's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah. Here we go. Okay, guys. All right, I think I've learned my lesson. What was that last video I had where I was telling everybody, yeah, make sure you read the instructions, right? Well, this time I'm going to read the instructions. I watched all the videos on installing this move bumper, and there's some guys were actually really cool about putting the mistakes they made into their video. Said, hey, don't do this. So I'm not going to make those mistakes that those guys made. So I'm going to read the instructions right now. This bumper must be built piece by piece on the vehicle. Do not build apart from the vehicle. Now, there was one guy that built his apart from the vehicle and then put it on after the fact. I guess it worked out okay for him, but I wouldn't want to do it. movebumpers.com. Pretty cool, guys. I'm not sponsored by Move. I did not get any kind of a discount. I paid full price for this. They say on their website that if you take a video of it and do it, that you get $100 off. Now, I was originally going to do this video anyway, and I found out about the $100 discount after the fact. They said to check the website, and they said that according to their website, they already have enough F350s, and they're only looking for 3 other vehicles out there. But I talked to them, and they said, yeah, well, if the video is good enough, so we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated with that. But as of right now, I paid full price. I paid $655. That included free shipping, and that is the heavier duty model for the winch plate and the heavier duty thick metal to support that winch with the cutouts and everything. So anyway, no sponsorship, and I found these guys on Instagram. I've also seen them pop up on Facebook. Their ad must be a paid ad, and it's obviously working. They're up in Montana. They'll ship free shipping anywhere in the continental United States. I would highly recommend you guys check these guys out. This is the ultimate DIY bumper for all you guys out there that can weld. How many homesteaders and preppers and whatnot can weld? I can. I've been welding for 30 years. So the bumper, just a good clean basic bumper like a Rhino for my truck was like $1,200. And then I found these guys online, and I'm like, well, I can totally weld it up. You give me all the pieces. They're all pre-cut, ready to go. You have to do a little bit of fitting on them, but they fit pretty darn good. All the videos I've seen so far, they're fantastic. So guys, go check out movebumpers.com. And they have bumpers for just about every vehicle out there. Okay, guys, I'm going to read the instructions here, and then we're going to get to welding. They give you really nice, really good pictures there, too. So they give you an idea of what it's supposed to look like on the front of an F350, how it's supposed to... and I saw one guy actually had put these, and he had them too far to one side, and he had to cut these off and redo them. It's pretty funny. Matter of fact, if you look at that picture right there, the guy on YouTube that did the same one I did, he put his on wrong. The ultimate strength of this bumper is strictly dependent on the fabricator. The Move is providing raw steel bumpers, a blank canvas shell ready for the fabricator to make into what he wishes. Reinforcing is the fabricator's responsibility. Wow. Check those instructions out, guys. They've got some really good instructions with all the parts highlighted in color. Tell you where to do it, where to weld, where to tack it. Man, oh man, guys, this is awesome. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5, so that tells you how to put the winch mount on. I'm impressed. This is everything that I have been promised and everything that I expected it to be. This is a very well done instruction manual, very well packaged, and very professional and very clean. I'm curious how many units they sell daily. Because if they're putting this out on Instagram and Facebook, they've got to be selling quite a few of these. There's got to be a lot of you guys out there. So, all right, I'm gonna just double check these instructions, and I'm gonna get to work here. Tag along, guys. So check that out, guys. That's the way I saw a couple guys unpacking it, and I only saw one guy on these YouTube reviews that made a comment about how they pack it. That's pretty ingenious. I like that, guys. They pack that sucker in there, and then they put spray foam, expandable foam in there to seal it all up. That's freaking smart. It says 70 pounds. There it is. There we go. there's all the parts. Let's get it on. So first thing I gotta do is I gotta mount up this plate right here. So I found these really cool body bolts that I had saved, and I have a whole bunch of these. It's got a fine thread on it, and it has these little wings on them instead of a hex head, so that way you can put them in a tight area where you can't get a wrench to, and tighten them up. So I saved these, and I have a whole bunch of them. They're automotive grade 8 bolts, and they're as big as what came off the bumper, the stock bumper. And they're actually a better bolt than what came off the stock bumper. So I'm using that. I'm going to tack weld those suckers on. That way, when if I ever go to take off my bumper, I don't have to worry about having a wrench on both sides. I just have just the nut side. Okay, guys. So check this out. These holes are oval shaped. Okay, those are oval shaped. So this, obviously the plate has slid down to the bottom of that oval, but there's a whole bunch of play right here, right? So one thing I did not see in these other videos is anybody centering that plate in that oval. That way, and you got to weld this thing up. If you were to weld this thing up at the bottom, and then you put that bumper right here against your grill, you don't have any room for adjustment. So I'm going to lift this thing up in the middle of that oval. That way I have a little bit up and down adjustment in case after I put this thing together that I want to play with it a little bit, I want to adjust it up or down, I have the room to do so. So I had looked up all the F250, F350s that I could find, same frame, at least the 05 to 07, and I looked up all the different YouTube videos on it, and I saw a guy that had put his brackets on. He put them on wrong. He didn't follow the instructions. That's one thing I wanted to make sure is I followed the instructions. That's what they say. Hey, just read them and you'll be good to go. But this bracket right here on this picture shows the short side on the top and the long side on the bottom, like this, and it shows the bracket open to the outside. I made sure that because these holes, the holes that go into the frame, are actually oval shaped. So I made sure to make these holes centered in that oval. That way I can adjust the whole bumper up and down on this bracket right here. Okay, I think that's key in order to get that last little bit of detailed fit in it that you might possibly want. So just letting this thing sit at the very bottom of the oval, and then you have no adjustment. So I haven't seen that in any video. I haven't seen that in the instructions. But I guess they figure if you're a fabber, you're gonna figure some of that stuff out as you go, right? I did see a couple guys making that mistake where they put the bracket on wrong and they welded it up wrong and they had the bolts in the wrong place. I had seen one guy with 2 holes over here with one over here. If you ever got to take this thing off, say your winch breaks down, it's a lot harder to get to this bolt on the inside of the frame than it is to get to these 2 outside bolts. So I want both bolts to be out here. Now the welder I'm using, this is my little Lincoln Electric. It is my weld pack. This is a weld pack 100. It's got 4 settings. It can go all the way up to 1/4 inch, no problem. And what I am using is shielded wire. Now I didn't do the gas. I didn't use the gas because it's more expensive. And then you got to have the special kit in order to run the gas on this welder. But this Lincoln Electric is a fantastic welder. They're like $300 at Home Depot. I've talked about this before. To buy the little 5 or the 1 pound spool was, gosh, I want to say it was almost $15, $20 or something for the 1 pound spool, versus this 10 pound spool was like $65 or something. So, or maybe it's $10 for a pound. And then you buy the 10 pound spool, you save like 30% by buying the full 10 pound spool. But the shielded wire works great because you got to have, obviously, any of you that don't know how to weld, you have to keep the oxygen out of the little area where the metal is being liquefied by the electric spark. The gas will create a non-oxygen environment so that metal does not oxidize instantly. The shielded wire does the same kind of thing. It's like flux. Any of your welding rods have insulation or flux on the outside, and it melts off and creates a little shield for the oxygen, so the oxygen didn't get in mix with the liquid metal. Liquid metal oxidizes instantly, and it doesn't stay solid steel. It turns into foam, steel foam, and that's no good. So anyway, this is a little weld pack I'm using, and that thing works great. Move bumper will mark all their pieces, and it says right on here, it says 05 to 07 F250. F250, F350 is the same frame, just a different suspension and whatnot. So here we go, guys. For Christmas last year, my son bought me this auto dimming helmet. I love it. This thing is the bomb. Man, it speeds things up so nice. So they say, measure twice, cut once, right? Or measure twice, weld once. That'd be nice. Then you don't have to cut your pieces off like that one guy did. I'm going to measure the width of this move bumper as opposed to these brackets and see where I want these things to line up. I want the outside of that center piece to line up. You guys see that little notch right there, that cut? That's for the side piece that goes on here at an angle, and you want that to match up. So I want the edge of my center piece, the main front piece, to match up with this corner. So that is 2 1/4. Everything. One of the most important things you can do before you start welding on your vehicle is disconnect the battery. That way, if you get any little extra charges float through the frame, it really shouldn't go anywhere but right through my anode. This is my cathode. Power's flowing out of this back through into the anode or the ground. But it's wise to disconnect your batteries before you weld on a vehicle. You should know better. I used to work in cars. Since it's a diesel truck, it's got 2 batteries. You got to disconnect both because you got crap hooked up to both sides. Totally paid to do that measuring first, because this little angle right here is what makes all this line up just right. I measured it against the frame, made sure that my brackets were centered, made sure this piece was centered, and then made sure that this piece was positioned properly left to right. That's key guys, to making sure this is a good fit. And it came out perfect, exactly. That corner matched up perfectly to this corner, and it's perfectly centered on the grill. That's key. Do that measuring first, guys. Make sure you get this angle right.
that one of the other videos had. The angle of this thing, even though it might be level this way, it actually wasn't perfectly level, but I thought it would be alright. Come to find out it's not alright. I don't know that checking the level on this, I mean, that'll get you close, but it all depends on that wing. And by tilting this, it'll close the gap between the headlight. So I've got about a 3/8 of an inch gap right here between my grill and the top of this, but I need to actually rotate it a little bit. That way it kicks up that wing, because I want this seam right here to match up with, I want the wing and this to match up nice. That way I have a nice, clean, smooth transition. I don't want it to be cocked or have a gap or anything like that. I want it to match up just right. So in order to get that wing to match up with the headlight, I need to cock this a little bit. So good thing I checked that. Good thing I checked that before I spot weld this thing really hardcore. That's perfect now. And I still have my adjustment in my bolts right there. Wow, I'm really impressed. Getting the gap right here underneath the headlight, getting this gap, getting it all squared up and centered on your grill. You start with this centerpiece, and then you get that squared up and centered up and level, and then you put the wings on and you get that gap just right. And these seams right here, I just have two little spot welds holding it in temporarily, but I'll show you guys how amazing this kit fits together. I am really impressed. Once again, nice job, Move. So, yeah, about a 1/2 inch gap. Not perfectly level. Maybe my headlight could be adjusted and tweaked a little bit. But there's the gap on the top grill. And it's the same all the way across. So, just about the same gap right there. Almost identical. I think my headlight on the other side is actually a little bit crooked, because this is all the same. This is all level. And then, yeah, I think my headlight is, if you look at that top seam right there, my headlight's just a little bit tweaked. I can move that a little bit. I guess I can look at this side, see if the headlight lines up with the side of the body. See, that headlight's just a little bit high on this side, so just a little bit different there. But that seam right there, that seam matches up perfectly. Look at that, guys. There she is so far. Look at that. Pretty amazing. So everything so far is lined up just like they said it would. I'm going to add a couple more tacks on here just for extra support while I tack in the rest of these pieces, and I'm going to be taking this thing off and welding that sucker up. So now I got these little fill plates. I'll put those in up on the top up there. How well these pieces fit. I'm kind of geeking out about this. That's it. That's everything. The only thing I got to put weld in is brackets for my bracket for my winch, the mounting plate for that, and then I'm going to cut holes on the sides for lights. This thing is sweet. This thing is badass.
I like it.
All right. Well, I went to 4-wheel parts. And looked at their lights, and freaking $130 for a pair of spots. Well, Cali raised LED is where I've got all my LEDs, and they're easily half that, if not a third. But they're closed, and I couldn't get them on time, so I went to Walmart. Walmart has these waterproof spotlights. You know, they're just a no-name brand. 3-in-1 spotlight by Auto Drive for 20 bucks a piece. So for 40 bucks, I got a pair of spots. I'm gonna cut my holes in here. I didn't want to pay 70 bucks for the holes and the extra metal to be cut. I've got extra metal. I got to cut the holes, or I can cut the holes myself. So I'm gonna give these things a try. They're 1,100 lumens with a 13-year warranty, and you know, the ones that the 4-wheel parts sells, the Pro Comps, are only 1,300 lumens. So 1,100 lumens versus 13. These are pretty bright already. So they actually, when you buy them, they've got a little tester battery in there. Anyway, cool. Winch plate's on. Sides are on. Now I gotta just do the backs of that bad boy.
Wow, it's a lot of work. Welding is yeah, it's not that hard, but it's bending over is what kills you. Just gotta finish welding it up. A few more joints to go. More welder to hold out. Winch plate together. Nuts, bolts, got everything all ready to go. Come together. $600 bumper, $630 with the winch plate, 1/4-inch steel, movebumpers.com. Everything that they promised it would be. Look at that thing. That thing's sweet. Thank you, Move Bumpers. I'm very happy with my purchase. Excellent. Yeah, guys, that's movebumpers.com, and they are a great company. They're based out of Montana, free shipping. Thanks for tagging along, guys, and watching this install. It was a great experience, just like they said it was. Everything fit together just like they said. It's cut and numbered, and I got some really good instructions with pictures, and it went together really well. Really stoked with how it came out. A bumper of this caliber and this size, of this quality, this thickness, and this heavy duty style. Gosh, you know, they're $1,200 bucks, $1,800 bucks, so I couldn't go wrong. Thanks for coming along, guys. See you in the next video.